Welcome to RAD CHAT. I'm your host, Brandilynn, and today our special guest is Daggett. You're a tattoo artist, you own 2 shops now, and you also are doing acting. Let's talk about a little bit about how you first got started into tattooing, since that's how I first met you.
Well, I got into tattooing probably when I was like around 14 years old.
Okay. So how many years is that now, approximately?
Oh, that's a long time ago. Oh, very long time ago. I'm 42, so do the math. Yeah, you know, it was just being a kid, you know, and like I was always fascinated with art. I've always been an artist.
Okay.
And, you know, when you're a kid and you're hanging out and you're bored with your friends and a needle and thread and here we go, let's start doing some tattoos. Let's be cool.
Nice.
And, you know, but it wasn't until, you know, I went to this, let me back up a little bit. I went to junior high and high school in Lake Tahoe.
Okay. I was going to ask you, where are you from California originally?
All my family's from LA, from Boyle Heights.
Okay.
East LA, and, you know, so I was born down here and moved away, and so it wasn't until I moved back down here that I knew that tattooing was my inspiration through art and wanting to express myself.
Was there something that really made you feel that connection to tattooing, that you were like, this is what I need to do now?
You know, yeah, there was, and at the time I didn't really know what it was, and what I've grown to know now about that feeling is the connection with another person.
Okay.
Being able to feel their energy and understand the type of person that they are with the work that they're getting, because a lot of the work that people get has a lot of meaning to them, and or it's like a timeline in their life, things that they've experienced, families, passing of death ones. Wow, that didn't sound very well.
Okay. You've done a lot of different tattoos.
Yeah, a lot of different tattoos. And, you know, so I went through an apprenticeship when I came down here, and it's been 20 years now that I've been tattooing.
Oh, wow. So long time.
Yeah, January 3rd.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, January 3rd was 20 years. So
nice.
It's been a long time.
I've known you for a couple of those years.
It's just a couple, I think. Since what, 2014, I believe, or something like that? Yeah. It's just way too long to know. Damn it.
Tattooing when I had basically no tattoos. Now I have
I think
a lot.
You only had like 1 or 2.
I had
maybe
only like
couple.
A few little baby ones.
Yeah.
Now I have my sleeve, which we have to finish still, my chest, my thigh. You've done a lot of my tattoos, which, going to what you said, is so meaningful for me. So it's nice to hear that an artist actually also takes in that human connection and takes it serious, the story I tell or your other clients must tell. I'm sure you get so many stories from people, and how do you feel about that, taking that energy?
You know what, I tell people sometimes that we are kind of like counselors and therapists, because, you know, when people come, a lot of time when people come in to get tattoos, it's to release. You know, it's therapy for them, you know, feeling the needle, the pain, and the satisfaction of getting a completed art masterpiece on their body. So being able to connect with somebody like that on that level through art is amazing. You know, it's amazing, and I cherish it, because it's the only thing that people can take with them to their grave. So you'll remember me for the rest of your life, no matter what.
I do.
You know?
I tell my mom's got tattooed by you, my sister's got tattooed by you, I have friends that got tattooed by you. I think, just to backtrack, I think also when you have a client, like I coming out here not knowing anybody that really was tattoo artists, when I first met you, just going to visit a friend, and we instantly hit it off. I was like, this is who I want to tattoo me. And so do you think with a lot of art, like people you work with, do you get more good vibes or do you have some bad experiences where maybe?
You know, I've definitely had some bad experiences with clients. And again, over the years, I've been able to distinguish when I'm going to have a problem like that. So a lot of times, you know, I'll respectfully decline their business, just because, you know, again, you know, you're coming in contact with somebody's energy, and if their energy isn't mixing well with yours, then it's going to put you in a bad mood, and then the artwork's going to show. You know, it's going to show through and it's just
I'd
rather just not do it, you know,
because it's more so about you not only being a talented artist, but it's just you're putting a story on someone, and you want to also feel that positivity to transition it into a real life composition. I would assume
100%. And you know, on top of that, you know, because I mean, again, 20 years, it's a long time to be tattooing. I've met hundreds and hundreds of people, and several of these people I've grown such good relationships with, like for you, for instance, you know what I mean? We've become really good friends, you know what I mean? Like forever. I've known you, like, seems like I've known you forever now.
I feel like I was just a little girl too now.
You were young, what, you were like 19 or something like that?
Yeah, I was like 19.
Yeah, so I've watched you grow pretty much.
Yeah, isn't it so? I'm sure that's such a crazy experience when you have maybe someone you tattooed, like maybe you tattooed their mom, but then their daughter comes in.
I've done that. I've done mom, I've done daughter, and then I've done granddaughter.
Grandma. Yeah. Oh, or have you done grandma?
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. And I mean, well, so let's take this. The oldest person that I ever tattooed
let's hear it.
was she was 80 years old.
Okay.
And it was her first tattoo ever.
Oh.
And she was like the sweetest little old lady, man.
What did she get? Do you remember?
She got her zodiac with some flowers around her wrist, you know, something real simple and elegant, you know.
That's awesome.
But you know, her son, you know, I tattooed her son and his son, and he's like, yeah, I'm picking up my mom from the airport tomorrow, because I was tattooing him. He's like, I was like, oh, cool. He's like, she doesn't really like tattoos. She doesn't have any, but she's okay with it.
Yeah.
You'll meet her. Well, the very next day, on his way home from picking her up from LAX, he called me. He said, hey, do you have time tomorrow? My mom wants to get a tattoo.
Wow, that's so crazy.
And I was like, yeah, actually, I do. Come on, bring her in.
How was that experience?
It was cool. She was
cool.
She was super cool, super flirtatious,
oh.
super flirty old lady, you know what I mean?
So
super
fun,
cool, yeah, full of life, you know?
And it must be so, I mean, you have 20 years experience of tattooing, not only just amazing artwork, which you can see on your books and your Instagram and all your profiles, but you also probably just carry so much lively stories and just some craziness. And,
yeah.
But in a good way, like
all
such
in
a
a good way. All in a good
art.
way. Yeah, I've experienced. I've traveled all over the United States, you know, in some parts of the world, you know, and
for tattooing purposes.
For tattooing purposes, and you know, so I've met a lot of interesting people, and you know, a lot of my clients, you know, they started out as clients, and I've seen them change dramatically in their life. You know, one of my friends, I remember he came and got tattooed after he came back from Vegas, telling me about this girl that he met and that he's in love. And then next thing you know, I'm at their wedding.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, okay, here we go.
That's so
you know, it's cool that I get to experience my clients' lives too, you know.
So it's not only it's not just a money making aspect, it's just a whole experience for you, like friendships, connections. So when you were first getting into tattooing, did you have a style you preferred? How did you define your style?
Well, so when I first got into tattooing, the industry was a lot different than it is now.
How would you say, for people that maybe don't know the industry?
So back then, when I started, you would walk into a shop. There wasn't the social media and the online presence of portfolios or anything like that. It was like, oh, I know this tattoo shop. I drive by it. Let's go in there. And you'd walk in and you'd just see several different sheets of flash all over the wall of different designs, and 98% of the time, that's what you had to choose from. Very, very often, very rare would an artist say, well, let me draw something up for you. It was mainly all like, yeah, that's what you want. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, but then, you know, a couple years went, and then Google came into play.
Isn't that funny? A world without Google.
World without Google, where would we be right now?
Some people don't even know what it's like to not have a cell phone. Crazy.
Oh, and I know
it's so crazy. I remember the time without a cell phone.
Jeez.
Crazy.
So it's like, you know, man, I lost my train of thought.
Before Google,
before Google, it was everybody. It was the same thing. So you know, I remember I got tired of doing the same lion, the same tiger, the dragon. Oh my gosh, there's another rose. The same one, and it's like you know, can I draw you up something instead? Let me draw you up something. I draw them up, and then as the time started going in the tattoo industry, it started evolving, and now there's hardly any flash.
Flash.
You know what I mean?
More
like,
so people come to you with.
Yeah, and if there is flash, it's a custom flash. You know, something that an individual artist has drawn up specifically because they want to tattoo that piece, and then someone was like, "Oh, hey, I want that. Okay, cool, let's do it." And then it's a custom flash piece that's not done on anybody else.
Yeah.
And so, which makes the tattoo industry not as boring.
Okay.
You know, because if you're
more
walking down the
creativity.
street, you're walking down the street and you bump into somebody that has the same tattoo as you, you're kind of like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not now we're all the same.
Same.
You know what I mean? And that's not what we are. We're all different.
I think tattooing is to be individual.
100%. 100%.
Do you have a preferred method of style? Like some people like black and gray, some people like more traditional.
You know, I'm more of a black and gray realism guy. I mean, I do color and I can do.
He does color, people.
I can do anything. It's more. You know, I mean, we're in Southern California.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
color
so
is hard to.
It's people like the Chicano art. You know, the black and gray, the stonework. You know, realism and so that's what I veer more to. That's what's more natural for me. I have a lot of fun doing it.
This.
Yeah.
Nice. What was some of your best pieces you think in like the top of your head? I'm sure 20 years you have every piece is so great. And what is your most, because you usually do, just by knowing you do mostly big pieces.
Yeah.
So you've done my whole thigh, my whole arm, and you mostly do pretty big pieces on people. Is there any like specific designs maybe that you just that
stand out the most?
Yeah.
You know, I try not to look at it like that because each piece is its own individual masterpiece in itself. So every piece is unique to me, and every piece means something different.
Yeah.
So I can't really say, oh, that's my favorite or that's the best one. And for me to say that that's my best tattoo I've ever done, then that should be my last tattoo I've ever done.
Because you want to keep growing.
Yeah, because you don't want, if that's your best one, then okay, cool, that's it. Because my next one might not be as good. So I might as well just stop now.
You can't make that border.
You can't.
That's good to know, though, because you think, I'm not a tattoo artist, so it's cool to okay, I can now understand that perception now that maybe it's in your mindset when you go into a new piece, and you just want everyone to be better than the next.
Yeah, I mean, well, and not just better than the next, but have the mindset that their piece is their best piece.
Their best piece.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And that they're proud of theirs, they're happy, and they walk out of the shop and they not only have an amazing piece of art on their body, but they've had a great experience, a great time, and they feel comfortable to want to come back even just to say hi and show me the piece, how it's healed,
Yeah.
And I get that a lot anyway. So to me, that I get a lot of pride out of that.
That's more satisfaction.
A lot of satisfaction.
So kind of to go back a little bit, when you were first growing up and you decided okay, I want to be a tattoo artist, how was it to get in the industry? Was it really hard? Was it easier maybe then, maybe now? Now so more tattooing is becoming more mainstream, which is for people like us, tattoo wasn't really mainstream back then. We're starting to kind of, see tattooing more out there in magazines where maybe back in the day we didn't. Yeah. Was it harder for you to get into it back in the day, or a little bit maybe easier? There wasn't much.
So,
or take us maybe through your
story
of trying to get into it.
So me trying to get into the industry, I was young. I was 21 or 20, 21, something like that, and I had a friend that was a piercer.
Okay.
And I was doing some bodyguard work.
Okay.
And I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, I really want to get into it. I want to take an apprenticeship, and he's like, well, I work at a shop, and I'll help you out, but you got to be really serious about it. Like, let me see your art, and he ran me through all. He's drilling me, drilling me. I'm like, okay, this, and then he's like, all right, come down and talk to this guy.
Did you already have a bank of art to show people that you've done?
Art, just actual artwork. I didn't have any tattoos that I could show because I hadn't.
But drawings.
Yes, but drawings just to show my worth that I have an artistic capability.
Yeah.
And so then he introduced me to my mentor Gene.
Okay.
And rest in peace, great guy. He took me under his wing. And he apprenticed me, and man, I went through some shit, man. I mean, like, they don't do apprenticeships like they used to do. Because, man, I remember standing on Hollywood Boulevard wearing a giant dick costume, like, holding a tattoo sign and shit, like, quacking like a duck.
Just to try to earn your stripes.
Yeah, man, like, you know, if I was late, I'm out in the chicken costume on 110 day in the summer with a tattoo sign.
Everyone's driving by.
Everybody's driving by. Everybody's walking by. Everybody you know what I mean? I'm getting more people want to come up and take pictures of me. You know what I mean? Than Spider-Man.
That's hilarious. I can just imagine like a younger you and
Can you imagine that a younger me and yeah, no.
The things you go through to try to get to where you are.
I mean, you do it. You do
but
it because
made you who you are.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because you feel that like you got to earn your stripes. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, and back then that was the time when we made our own needles, scrubbed our own tubes, and all this. There was like a process in it. You know what I mean? And like I was put through it, man. Like I probably would make about 100 to 150 needles a day.
Oh wow!
And my mentor would make me do almost all but 10.
Wow.
Redo them all. Like, no, those aren't good enough. Redo them.
Wow. And you have to go through the sterilization process again.
Take the needles off the bars, everything.
So that must have really just shown you the nitty gritty of the craft and what it takes to become something in the industry.
It was definitely a lot different than what it is now. Now it's more laid back, and apprenticeships aren't as traditional as they used to be because times have changed.
Yeah.
And I feel that a lot of artists that go through apprenticeships in this day don't really have, I mean, no disrespect to any of them, because a lot of these guys are great artists. It's just different.
Different, yeah.
It's a lot different, and hey, times change, so you kind of have to evolve with it.
Yeah. Which you have an Instagram, and you are very active on there to show.
Yeah. My personal Instagram is Mario_Daggett,
which we will tag.
And then my shop in North Hollywood is Black Mirror.
Yes, let's talk about your shops. You have two now.
2 shops.
So let's talk about So I first met you when you had Black Mirror somewhere else.
Yes.
And now it's it still was in North Hollywood, but now we'll just talk about it's centralized in North Hollywood. Called Black Mirror.
Called Black Mirror Tattoo Gallery.
And it's a holistic tattoo shop.
Yes, we use all vegan-friendly ink, and all the products that we use to do the procedure are animal cruelty-free.
Perfect.
So,
which is so great.
Yeah,
it's so great. Save the animals.
Save the animals. We love animals, right?
Yes. And that's pretty, you don't see a lot of those, so it's pretty unique as well, I feel like.
And I mean, it's not that hard to go that way. It doesn't cost that much more money. It's just being more mindful of what you're doing and what you're putting into people's skin and what they're using on their skin. Some people are allergic to latex, so you have to make sure you don't have latex. You have a variety of different tools to be able to do your job. So
which is awesome that you put that extra effort, whereas maybe some people won't.
Yeah.
So when you first were making your shop, and now you have a second shop you're making, talk to us about the process of owning your own shop. You made it. You went through all this time to become a tattoo artist. You did apprenticeships, and now you own your own shop.
Yeah.
How is that feeling? How is the process? I'm sure it was very hard to get to. I've owned several shops, and it wasn't until a few years ago when I opened a Black Mirror, and I was like, okay, this is exactly what I want to do and how I want to run a shop. Yeah. Because
I did a lot of traveling, worked in a lot of different shops. I had a couple other shops before, and it was all like trial and error, how I wanted to run a shop to benefit not just me as a businessman, but me as an artist and my other fellow artists.
Yeah.
I wanted them to be able to work in an environment where their creative energy and flow can just go.
Yeah.
And not be locked down to just a conveyor belt tattoo factory. You know what I mean? Go if it takes you. If you want to work on your client all day, that's cool, no problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Handle it. Give them that time, because it's forever, and they'll come back.
Yeah.
And you'll do the best work
that you
possible.
have.
Yeah.
There's no pressure on them.
No pressure. I give all my artists enough room to hang themselves. You know,
Be free.
be free, do what you need to do. You know, just.
How many artists do you have in your shop currently?
Oh shoot. See, Black Mirror, I have. I'm always counting because everything's always changing so much. I got 6 at Black Mirror.
Okay.
And the new shop, we're not quite open yet, you know, but we are getting there. You know, with this whole
coronavirus. We are safe and sanitized.
Yeah.
And social distancing.
Social distancing. Stay away. Don't. Yeah.
It's just a very wild time, though. It's crazy because you don't know what to expect, and you're right. Like, especially owning your own shop, I'm sure that's a little bit of a scary thing too right now.
Yeah. It is a little rough, but you know, you just keep on pushing, you know, because obviously a tattoo shop isn't an essential business.
But you know,
but although, hold on, let me to argument that getting tattooed actually strengthens your immune system. Oh. So the more tattoos you get and have,
the more happier you feel.
Yeah, the less chance that you're gonna get coronavirus.
We think it's essential.
So come get tattooed.
We think it's an essential business, so we support the artists. Because you're right, it makes you. Right now, we need to keep positivity, which is why I'm so thankful that you want to come on my show, because I really just want to talk to individuals and hear their stories and where they come from, just to keep the positivity up. Right now, we're in a very gray area of life, and just to have a conversation and talk about your art and where you've come and what you're doing, it's so uplifting to hear that. Yeah. So I thank you for even still pushing through as well. Do you want to talk about why you came up with the name Black Mirror and how that came about, or is maybe it just kind of came?
That just random? Came up. One of my artists was like, I have this big 6 foot by 5 foot mirror in my shop, and he's like, "What about Black Mirror?" And I was like, "That sounds pretty dope."
Yeah.
And then, like, literally a week later, the TV show came out. I was like, what?
I was gonna say there's a TV show.
I was like, what are the odds of that? Come on, man.
No.
I'm like, damn it.
But did it help maybe giving people a familiarity? Like, oh, Black Mirror, I kind of know that name. Did you ever get that?
I didn't really notice it, and I never really, you know,
cared
to actually ask people. I figured that, you know, I wanted to be my own entity anyway.
Yeah, of course.
And regardless if the show was good or not, you weren't related. Yes, I didn't want it to be related to, oh, well, the show sucks, so does the shop, or the show's dope, but the shop is not. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, no, it's like, come check us out, look at our work, see what we're all about. You know, all my artists at Black Mirror, they all have different, unique types of styles, and that's what I wanted to have at that shop because of the location of where it's at. Gotcha. It's in the heart of North Hollywood Art District, so it's very diverse there. There's all different types of culture there. So people from all over, you know, not just all over the United States, but all over the world come there because of the dance, the music, you know, all that stuff. So
for people that don't know, the NoHo Art District is very dance-centric. A lot of dancers, a lot of musicians, a lot of studios in there. It's a very, very now up-and-coming area.
Yes, very,
kind of the place to be for visitors. So that is why there's probably so much culture.
Yeah, there's a lot. 10, 15 years ago, it was
different. Even when I first worked in North Hollywood, it was very different.
Very different. Very, very different,
So that's cool. So how is it to see the change of the area?
You know what? It's bittersweet.
It's bittersweet?
Yeah.
As most things in life.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I like how it's evolving, and it's uplifting now, and things are cleaner, and it's not as like run down like how it used to be. The gangs are kind of being pushed out. Yeah. But at the same time, it's also too much. Too fast.
Got you.
You know, everywhere you look, you know, today they're finishing an apartment complex, and tomorrow they're building a new one. And it's like,
it just keeps rolling in different things.
I mean, literally within the last 6 years of the shop being there in North Hollywood, I think 10, 15 minimum new apartment complexes within a half-mile radius.
Holy moly, that's a lot.
A lot.
It's just showing you how many people want to go to this area. So, I mean,
you know, they say you build it, they will come, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no, don't get away. There's too much traffic.
That's true.
back home.
No, the traffic does kind of getting
there's like now there's no parking anywhere.
Well, it's kind of a weird area for parking because it's a lot of street parking.
Yeah.
So there's tons of meters.
Tons of restaurants, tons of bars, tons of apartment complexes. So that means there's tons of people.
Which is a benefit too.
Yeah, and it's definitely a benefit because then that's more culture.
Yeah,
you know, that's
interact with different people, meet different people.
More business and stuff like that as well for all the shops around. But at the same time, you know, they need to do some kind of quality control with parking, you know.
Which I'm sure is a little hard knowing that. Well, also the strip that you're on is all local businesses, so it's actually very positive to support those local businesses. So if you're gonna go get tattooed, you can go eat at a place that someone made themselves as well. So
family owned restaurants type stuff.
How do you feel about you being your own entrepreneur, your own local business, and then also sharing a strip of different local businesses? Is it empowering that you guys all came there and are doing it, making the dream come alive?
Yeah, it's very empowering to know that I am a help lift the community and sustain the community in a positive note. You know, and not negatively. You know, I'm changing people's lives. You know, for the positive. So that's good. And you know, like all of the other business neighbors of mine, we all know each other. We're all very respectful to each other, and we all help each other out. You know, we've all been there. We're all doing the same thing. We're just trying to survive and create something for ourselves. You know. And I mean, there's a restaurant that opened up like 2 stores.
Down from you?
Yeah, down from me. Then they literally opened up like a week before I did.
And
like,
so
so I've seen them go through their times, and they've seen me go through mine, and you know, and
the community part is so uplifting. If you know, maybe some people don't come from a community, or maybe they had no community when they were growing up, or etc., and then to find a community of just local business owners, I'm sure that is so positive.
It's like you walk down the street and everyone's like, "Hey, Mario, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? Hey, what's up?" You know, and they're all the business owners that are just doing their thing as well. You know, and because it is such a small, even though it's a big city in a city around the city, it's still a small community. You know, people that are in that community, they're there in that community, and everybody knows each other, and so it's good.
And then now, so that's the Black Mirror shop. Now your new shop, do you want to talk a little bit about it? Since I know it's not open yet, but maybe like, do you want to talk about the name or maybe the location?
Yeah, so the new shop is called LA Alter. And it's in East LA.
Okay.
6118 Whittier Boulevard.
Okay, there you go, guys. Check it out when it's open.
And the shop is substantially larger.
Larger, okay.
And what I wanted to do was I wanted to bring high quality tattoos with a high quality environment back to my East LA community. And really show the community that you know, tattoo artists have a lot more to bring to the table than gangs and drugs and partying. You know, because you know, in that community, that's like what it is. You know, and it's got a stigma. And so I wanted to bring some wholesome art, you know, and I mean, shoot, the Chicana art. You know, who doesn't love Chicana art? You know,
is that your culture, Chicana art? Okay.
So I'm a half breed. You know.
Okay.
I'm half white, half Mexican.
Okay.
You know, but I love my Mexican culture.
Yeah, you always have to. I think the same. I'm half and half Italian, half Polish, but I'm so prideful of just like, obviously I'm an American, but to have that Italian and Polish background, it's just, there's something about it. Just, you feel prideful of it.
Yeah. It's cool, you know. When I was younger, you know, I didn't know, and I would get teased and made fun of, and because of being, you know, what they would call it as an Oreo, you know, a half breed.
Okay.
And so I was always kind of like, you know, like shined away, you know, and didn't want to accept, you know, my culture. As I got older, I became more proud of my culture because of everything, you know, what my people had gone through, where they came from, the art,
Yeah.
You know, the history all behind it. So
it was more inspiring.
It was so much more inspiring, especially with art. It opened my eyes up to a lot of other different things, and not just to understanding my culture, but to understand other people's cultures. You know, and not be so naive and judgmental. So that helped out a lot.
Yeah, because I'm sure people judging you made you grow up to be like, I don't want to be like those kids. Like,
at first I became judgmental towards them as well.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Because it was like fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
You know, and
younger, you
and I didn't get anywhere with that.
Yeah.
You know, so it was pretty much, oh well, this isn't working. Well, what's gonna work? Okay, well, you know what? Light bulb went off in the head. This is what I gotta do.
Yeah.
Do
you feel like that really fueled you into getting into your first like starting of your career?
Not necessarily. It fueled me to be as independent as I possibly could, as an entrepreneur. Because, you know, I've tried every kind of job and hustle you could possibly think of. You name a job, I've done it. You know, and I'm like, it wasn't me. You know, it wasn't me. I like to interact with people, and I'm an artist. I like to create. Whether it is on skin, on paper, or in front of a camera. You know, I like to create. You know, I like to do art, and that's the bottom line of it. You know what I mean? If I'm not doing some kind of art, you know, I'm not at my full potential of being happy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So going to where you said on camera, you also now are acting.
Correct.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how you decided to get into acting, how it's going for you?
Yeah, we can touch that a little bit.
Wanted to do?
You know, acting was like always something, obviously, that everyone, when they're kids, oh my God, an actor, I want to be an actor, I want to be a princess, I want to be a model, I want to be an athlete, you know?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like one of those things where, you know, to be honest, I kind of stumbled across it.
Okay.
You know, I was at the right place at the right time, and it was, hey, you'd be perfect for this part.
Okay.
You come meet the director.
Can you say what part it was, maybe?
Yeah, I played I played a fighter and a bouncer at a club.
Okay.
That
for security days?
Yeah, for a fighing movie.
Yeah.
That had like BJ Penn, Anderson Silva, like all these big name fighters in it. You know, Rampage Jackson.
Wow.
So I got to work with these guys. It was really cool. And so that was cool, you know. And then from that one, it was like, oh hey, there's another one, and another one, and another one, and I'm like, I kind of like this. This is really cool. I'm creating art on a whole different level. So what I did was, I'm like, you know what? If I'm really gonna do this, like, I'm gonna take a step back for a minute, and I'm gonna finish getting my tattoo career to where it's sustainable on its own.
Gotcha.
Meaning having my own shop to where, you know, and my clients to where I can go in and tattoo and make my money and not have to worry about, you know what I mean? I'm tattooing all day to make money, you know? So I wanted to be, you know, established.
With also your experience in tattooing, you do have probably clients that just hit you up and they come back to you every time. So
all the time,
probably helps you where now you can be like, oh, I can explore another venture in life.
That's exactly what the case became. So, you know, I went around, I did some traveling, did conventions and got my name out there, came back for 3 years of traveling and opened up my shop, opened up Black Mirror, and got that to a point where it was self-sustainable. And one of my best friends, Richard Cabral, shout out to my G. He, you know, I hit him up and I said, hey man, I'm ready, because, you know, I've done a couple projects with him before in the past, and so I hit him up and I said, hey man, I'm ready to go full force. What are the best steps that you think I should take? Because he's already in it, you know, he's already there. And he said,
like a mentor. Yeah.
So he tells me, he says, here's the number to my acting coach, Anthony Gilardi's acting studio. Check him out. Another shout out.
I give the shout out.
Always moving forward.
Wouldn't be here without you.
Yeah. So so I called him up and he's like, yeah, all right, come on in. And you know, so I went through you know, a year straight of classes, and before I even started like getting into going out and doing auditions and stuff like that, and because I really wanted to like buckle down and learn what I needed to learn.
Gotcha.
And I mean, there's still room for learning.
Much
There's still so much more to learn. You can never stop learning.
Yeah.
So, next thing you know, I got a couple agents, and I'm like going out on auditions, and
things are happening.
I'm doing TV shows, movies, music videos. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I like this.
Yeah.
And it's art.
Yeah.
People ask me like, well, what's one of the greatest things about being an actor? And for me, my answer is that there's a few things.
Okay.
One, to be able to portray a character that you can't normally portray in real life without getting in trouble. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, So that was one of the things, and then obviously just to be able to create art.
Yeah.
And be able to express myself. And,
in a different form.
A different form of art other than tattooing.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you develop what I like to call like the hero complex.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go back to my boy Richard Cabral.
There you go.
He's like a hero in our community.
Okay.
It's
good that you met somebody like
that.
Yeah,
because just like me, we've all had a past, very rough past.
Yeah.
And we've been rocky, down at the bottoms. Yeah. And we built ourselves up either in prison, on drugs, and these are my experiences.
Yeah.
And to be able to come back from all that and to show other people, our kids, in our community and other communities, hey, look.
Around the world.
Yes, it can be done. Just because the world has stepped on your head, kicked you down, it does not mean that you can't get up, brush yourself off, and rise to the top.
Yeah, it doesn't define you.
It doesn't. So being a hero, to other people is essential in life, because you can be someone's hero, like some other little girl. Oh my God, I want to be just like her. You know what I mean? And so therefore, now you're an inspiration for another girl, and you can help pave this girl's life to success.
It's empowering.
Yeah. So that's what I. Yeah.
What you had with him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And now he's really gotten you into it, where you are becoming successful, making stuff that I'm sure is so fulfilling.
Yeah, it's fun.
Do you feel like now being an actor and an artist that it has made you open another field of art you didn't maybe know was in you?
Yes, emotion.
Okay.
Obviously we all know we have emotions, and we can either cry or laugh or get mad, but being able to control those emotions is something something different altogether. Especially with like acting and even with tattooing, it's related with both. If there's a character that is maybe a homicidal killer, okay, well, obviously you're not a homicidal killer, and neither am I.
I hope not.
You know what I mean? But there is some emotion that we have experienced in our life that is relatable to
maybe their trauma that made them who they are. Kind of like a Joker. We'll say a Joker.
Yeah. So it's all about in developing the character, just like in developing a tattoo art. Like you have to really sink into it and really be a part of that character or be a part of that piece of art. You know what I mean? To really understand it and to portray it the best that you can to your ability.
That's awesome. That's so inspiring. I feel like, I'm not an actor or an artist, but to just hear someone talk about art in such a way, it's so empowering and uplifting that even me, who loves my tattoos, and I put my tattoos on me to express my life and my story, but just knowing like, oh wow, like my artist also feels my story is so empowering, and also why I keep coming back to you.
Well, thank you.
That's so awesome. Do you think now you have an established tattoo business, you're getting established in acting, is it hard to find a balance of everything and just standard life things that happen?
People ask me that all the time, like, how do you juggle everything around, and how do you find time? And it's like, if my life isn't so hectic and busy and just constantly going, I get restless.
Okay.
You know, and I get anxious, and
So you like to constantly
I love to constantly be productive and doing something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I feel like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I'm wasting time. So that's how I am with
So
that.
that keeps. Oh,
Yeah,
great.
it keeps me going. You know.
What do you think your best piece of advice may be for new coming actors? Or maybe even just new coming tattoo artists?
Well, I mean, it can go both for both of them. You got to keep working, constantly work, constantly study, constantly research. And I mean, if it's a dream of yours to be an actor, then that's all it is a dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to make it a priority and a goal.
Okay.
Like, hey, this is what I love to do, this is my passion, and this is what I'm gonna do. Not like, oh my God, it's my dream to be this famous actor, because then what happens when you dream? You wake up, right?
True.
You wake up to reality.
Yeah.
And your dream is just there.
Yeah. If you don't do anything about it.
If you don't do anything about it, you don't set goals, then you're not gonna accomplish your goals.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to it, and it's not about the destination, it's about the journey and the things that you accomplish and the things that you do on the way.
Yeah.
You know, so even if you don't become a famous actor, but your heart is in it and your drive is in it, just the experiences that you're gonna encounter on the way that's gonna make you the person who you are. And you never know, it could change your life to something even totally different.
Yeah, like you didn't know you were even gonna become in this field.
100%.
So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And just also you're a real testament to that anything is really possible.
Anything is really
That's awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, because just because like say, I want to be this actor, and I really love acting. A couple years from now, I might not ever act, and I could just be on the creative side.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all art too, creating stories. You know, and then you have the artists that bring the stories to life. So it's.
Which you already are doing technically in tattooing. So you really have a full circle career in a sense, where art is your epicenter.
100%.
That's really empowering.
100%,
Do you think that without art, or maybe that art has, in a sense, made you who you are now?
Art has definitely made me who I am, and it is definitely food for the soul, and it is the best way to heal any kind of pain.
Any pain?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you think that with acting, maybe, do you had any certain jobs that you can talk about, of course, that were maybe most fulfilling, or just the most raddest time you've had, or a crazy experience? Can you talk about any of the acting jobs just for a little fun piece?
I could talk about a few things, you know, like, I mean,
whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah. You know, let me see here.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've played all different types of roles. Well, obviously, I'm definitely typecasted as the bad guy.
I didn't want to say it.
Last year, I died 9 times, okay? So let me just say, I got 9 times, and one of the times I got blown up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How did you be blown up?
It was amazing. Not only did I get blown up, but I got shot in the head at the same time.
Oh. Actually, how does that make you feel? Because I know for me, I love my tattoos, and people look at me and maybe judge me and think their own things. But like, I know who I am. I'm not, bad because I have tattoos. Do you think getting typecast hurt your feelings, maybe?
No, because I like playing the bad guy.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm not really a bad guy, you know? Like, I like playing the bad guy, and it's...
Because it's a different persona.
Yeah, like I said, it's something that I can be without getting in trouble. You know what I mean?
Blow me up.
Yeah, blow me up, shoot me. I get to shoot you? Okay, cool, nice. So, I mean, it's cool, Like, I've gotten my head bashed in, and, I was like, some crazy stuff. I've slammed people,
Yeah.
I do my own stunts too, so
that's cool. A lot of Hollywood doesn't really do that too much.
Yeah, I love doing my own stunts.
Yeah.
It's cool because I used to be a fighter and stuff. I wrestled in high school.
Okay.
So
was doing that fighting piece really like in a secretive way cool for you, because that's what you grew up doing?
It was so cool. I love doing fighting bits.
Yeah.
I love the whole development of it, from the choreographing, the blocking it out, the different angles.
Yeah.
That is fun.
It's fun.
It's very, very fun.
That's awesome.
Very, very fun for me.
My favorite part is when I see you on the Harleys, because I'm a Harley girl, and you're always having your cool ass Harleys. So that's fun.
I've done a lot
The
of stuff
biker
with
dude.
my Harley. Yeah, with my Harleys, I've done a lot. I've done a couple TV shows with my
Nice.
Harleys riding. You know, I've done certain things. I can't mention the names yet,
no
but
worries.
you know, like I've definitely done some.
To come.
Yeah, definitely done some really cool stuff with it, and
That's awesome.
being able to, being a biker in real life at the same
Because
time.
you actually are a biker.
Yes, actually helps with certain roles because they're always looking for
For
mean,
an authentic.
yeah, authentic mean biker with their own bike, and I'm like,
Which
okay, well,
you're
which
not
one do you
even-
want? I got 2 different bikes. What's up? Oh no, we like that one.
What's your favorite bike?
Oh, you can't ask me that. They're both gonna get mad right now, especially if they watch this. They're gonna get mad.
Do you want to talk about your Harleys? Like a little piece?
I have a 2018 Road King Special. That's Black Betty. She's all blacked out.
That's the one I shot with.
Yes. Beautiful bike. Ooh, excuse me. And then I have a 2005 Softail Deluxe. That's she's extremely gorgeous.
Yeah.
She's all chromed out,
Nice.
super shiny, flashy.
That's awesome.
You know, yeah.
It's just fun to probably ride them.
She's fun to put around the town, you know, but I don't like taking her far because you know what I mean?
Too nice.
Yeah, you know.
She's a Sunday ride.
Yeah, she's she's my bar hopper girl, you know.
There you go. All right, hey, we all got that.
Yeah, she's my sweetheart. She's a
Nice.
good one, you know. Yeah,
That's
I love my bikes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just so grateful that you wanted to come. Is there any last kind of things you want to say about your shops or your acting things maybe coming up? What do you want to talk about as a final party? Let people know some things are coming from you.
Soon as all this craziness
Yeah.
with this coronavirus thing
Really
settles
crazy.
down, LA Altar will be open. So we're hoping within the next month or so, when all this dies down, we'll be open, and we're gonna have a nice grand opening. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll definitely have details for that. We'll have some
Perfect.
raffles. We'll give away some merchandise, and there'll be
Nice.
food and
So
some
we'll
bands.
be there.
Yeah, you'll get to meet some of the cast from the Mayans and.
Oh, okay.
You know, cause
Little
it's-
sneak
those
peek.
are my- some of my buddies, you know, so they're gonna come out and
Nice.
support as well.
Cool.
So
And if people don't know what the Mayans is, would you call it a spin-off of Sons of Anarchy?
it's a spin-off of Sons of Anarchy. It's on FX. They're on hold from shooting right now, but
production,
they're gonna be shooting production for season 3.
Nice. And
pretty
you're friends
soon.
with some of the guys.
Yes, I am.
Nice. That's
Great,
cool.
great group of guys. Very talented artists. I'm very pleased to know them and have them in my life
Nice.
as well.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
So, this is so great. Thank you for sharing your stories and
problem.
sharing it with everybody else. And we will be at your shop opening.
And if you are looking to become an actor and or looking to get into any of the production side, check out Anthony Gilardi's actingstudio.com and he will definitely help you out.
Thanks, guys.